A volunteer is someone who votes to do something. A volunteer is somebody who helps somebody for free. A volunteer is something that is when they tell you do it and you get paid for doing it. A volunteer does something that they usually don't do, and sometimes they get paid for it. Thank you, Mom, for volunteering. I love you very much. Thanks, Mom, for helping classmates this year. Thanks, Mom, for helping our class this year. Thank you for helping Mrs. Warner. I think she appreciates it. Thank you, Mom, for helping our class. Thanks, Mom, for coming in my class. Thank you, Mr. Earl, for coming in and working with me. Thanks, Mom, for volunteering my time. Thanks, Mom, for coming into my class. Thanks, Mom, for coming in my class and helping. Thanks, Mom, for all you do. We love you.
Thanks, Stepmom and Mom, for what you do for me at school.
Thank you, Mom, for volunteering. Thank you, Mom, for volunteering in my class. I love you so much. Thanks, Mike, for spending time with me. Thanks, Abby, for coming and spending time with me. Thanks, Mrs. Menzie, for helping us every Tuesday. Second grade, all the rest first, and we appreciate you. Thank you, Mrs. Bell, Mrs. Crowell, Mrs. Riedel, Mrs. Schmidt, Mrs. Peppercorn, Mrs. Wallace, Mrs. Zolman, Mrs. Woodcox, Mrs. Peckle, Mrs. Kingsbury, and Mrs. Woodington. You're the best. Thank you for Abby for working with me. Thank you, Mrs. Miller. Thank you, Mrs. Woodington, for volunteering in our classroom.
Thank you, Mrs. Sam, for helping me on my missing work and stuff that I've got wrong. Thank you, Mrs. Sam, for helping me get my work done and doing fixes with me.
Thanks, Mom, for helping and volunteering at Janet Watson.
Thank you, Mr. Hines, for working with me. Thank you, Mom, for volunteering. Thank you, Mr. Thomas, for helping me do math. Thank you, Mom, for volunteering at James O. Thanks, Grandma, for volunteering here at my school.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you for volunteering in the classroom.
Thanks, Mom, for helping us in the classroom.
Thank you, Mom, for helping at my class.
Thank you, Sandy, for helping me. Thank you, Grandpa, for volunteering in my class. Thank you, Mom, for helping me in my classroom. Thank you, Alicia, for coming each week so I can with you. Thanks, Mom, for helping in my classroom. You did a lot of things that helped Miss Crabtree out. Thanks.
Thank you, Megan, for working with me each week.
Thank you, Grandma, for volunteering at our school.
Thank you, Mr. Slimmer, for helping us learn. Thank you, Mr. Smith, for volunteering.